And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the TokuTitanCast. I am your host, Davis Madole, content creator on YouTube, where not only do I do videos about anime and tokusatsu, but as you're about to see here, I took part in producing a student film that me and my good friend Ethan Jordan directed. Ethan and I have, been pretty good friends since we met freshman year in college, and I am more than happy to have him on board in the stream to present to you guys our work, a semester's worth of blood, sweat, and tears. Ethan, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. I'm actually pretty stoked.
So am I. So am I.
Yeah. All right. So, welcome everyone to the NULL discussion panel, where first we're gonna do a little screening of our 10-minute short film, and then after that we're gonna talk more about the production, and then do a little Q&A afterwards. So, so yeah, and again, NULL was this student film that Ethan and I worked together on. Not only did I produce it, I was also the cinematographer and the editor. While Ethan, not only was he the director, he also did the scoring, and he was also the writer for NULL as well. And we both did the fight choreography. So
Yep.
all right. So before we continue this little screening for NULL, those in the chat, if you have seen it, or if most of you have seen it, then we are more than happy to do like a little live commentary of sorts. But if you haven't seen it, or if most of you guys haven't seen it, then then we'll do without the commentary. So live chat, just hit it away. Let us know if you want the commentary or no commentary and just hear the film as is. Or, oh, wait a minute. Ravanth, what's up?
Oh, what's up, Ravanth?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ravanth here. He was one of the extras in NULL. He was also one of our sound people. Ravanth, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
That's awesome. Let's see here. We got my good friend Sean Barry in the chat. You guys ever heard of NULL? It's pretty good. You should check it out.
Hey.
Thank you, Sean. Spiders Prime says he hasn't seen it.
Okay.
Still waiting on some more responses, but then again, there is like a bit of a delay with the StreamYard.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So that should be funny. This will be the first time I've seen it without having my hat pulled down over my face because I was so nervous.
Or I guess here you can just look away from the screen and just refuse to watch it.
Yes, I'll refuse to watch my own movie.
Yeah.
Like I did at the premiere.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then Sean says, in all seriousness, I really enjoyed NULL. Congratulations to you all for completing the short film. Thank you very much, Sean. It really means a lot hearing that.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and Sean's not only like a regular here on a TokuTitanCast. He's also one of the co-hosts. I mean, I have like a bunch of co-hosts for this little thing. I mean, it's really more of a side thing than anything. I mean, it's not gonna take away the main focus of the channel. It's just a fun thing where some good friends get together and guys being dudes. That's all.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Let's see. So not really seeing any more responses here. We're only at like 5 viewers, unfortunately. I guess people are busy. I don't know.
Oh, it is earlier in the evening, so people might end up coming on like when we do commentary or stuff like that.
Yeah, probably. So Ethan, Ravanth, do you guys want to do commentary for this, or?
I'm good with doing commentary.
I don't know what to say.
I mean, you can just talk about what it was like when your scenes come up or stuff like
Okay,
that. Like,
yeah, that's
so
fine.
yeah,
That,
just talk about the behind the scenes, all the dumb hijinks we got up to.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the Null definitely has an interesting behind the scenes story. So
You would know. You would know.
oh yeah, I got my hands dirty. I definitely got my hands dirty.
Yeah. Whenever my back was turned.
Okay, so alrighty, we are gonna go ahead and start this little screening of Null if my slow computer catches up. Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, starting Null in 3, 2, 1. Let's hit it. Oh, I wonder who that is.
Yep. I do just want to talk about like how much like how many times it took us to shoot this one little bit, even though it's one of the simplest bits in the entire movie. Like
Oh,
how
yeah.
was it like it was like 12 times at least we shot this.
Yeah, like it was 12 times. Not only or actually this even though this is the opening scene, this wasn't the first thing we shot. And like the first time we were shooting this, Hobby still had some like battle damage on him that should not have been there in the first place.
Mhm.
And then and that took like 8 takes, and then we had to do like another 4 correcting that. And then we found out that our professor forgot to teach us how to like clean the camera lenses, so we had to reshoot that on my phone.
And that was another 4 or 5 takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I do want to note a little bit about the score because like it's pretty audible in the background. Like, so for those who don't know, the score is me just playing a bass guitar and messing with different kinds of distortion. And I wrote all of the music kind of when we were recording. So it was a lot of improving, a lot of interesting things we did. Davis can attest. So
Yeah, it was
sense.
Like the soundtrack for Null was done entirely with one instrument, and honestly, I think that's pretty impressive. And I was also in the same room as Ethan while we were like putting it together.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh yeah, interesting behind the scenes story. Like one of the first takes when we tried to like execute the whole Hitman smacks the bomb enforcer away from him. We like Hobby actually had his legs wrapped around Pan during that, and the first time we tried to like execute it, Hobby fell straight to the ground and like easily could have hurt his back pretty badly.
Yeah, it was almost really bad. And also, the room that we were shooting in is a room in the theater building in our school, and we were trying to initially find like an apartment, like living room to shoot this in, and we couldn't find one. So this is the room that we kind of last minute we're like, okay, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna move everything out, and then move everything back in. That way, no one knew we were here. So it was very interesting trying to shoot in that really small space.
And most of the scenes that take place outside are in downtown Sherman, which is which I think that location I thought was perfect for a film like this. Like it kind of has that, you know, grimy, grungy sort of aesthetic. And while downtown Sherman is not exactly that urban, it's still urban enough to fit the tone.
Yeah, it really looks like kind of like the worst part of like a downtown in a big city. So,
oh yeah.
Also, shout outs to my mom, who is the conscience voice in this movie, because she kind of just like I kind of just sprung on her like, hey, could you do this role? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? And she nailed everything in like 1 or 2 takes. So,
oh yeah, and that's and she did an amazing job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
this was another one of our reshoots as well, because crappy $3,500 camera with trash white balancing.
Or times when we saw Davis in the reflection of the windows that are coming up.
Because there is no point to this. You just have not taken the time.
I completely forgot about that. I remember, I can't remember if it was like the first or the second take where I was like, hey, this probably isn't a good idea. I can see myself in the window.
Yeah.
What kind of life is this? An empty one.
I think this might be the bit of the film we actually shot the most, or was like this scene. So
yeah, like it was one of those things where we really like had to get the timing of it down.
We know that in the
yeah.
end, this will all be for nothing.
Imagine if downtown Sherman gets like even more famous because of this.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out, so fun story. So like, again, where this was shot was right next to a bank, and we had a fake gun, and there were a number of police cars that were driving right by, so we had to hide the gun really quick because of how real it looked.
Yeah, there was even an instance where Javi accidentally dropped one of the guns, and I had to like huddle around it and make sure no one sees it.
Yeah.
You can walk
In other words, we
away.
almost got arrested,
You know this.
but we weren't caught.
Can I though?
What's stopping you?
I don't know.
I might be biased, but I really like the score that I wrote. I'm just saying.
Hey, I mean, I really like it too, and I've had several people tell me that it perfectly fits the tone of this film.
Yeah.
You know you can be done with this.
Not now.
I've actually been told by several people that this little shootout right here is very reminiscent of John Wick and The Raid.
Oh yeah, no, especially after watching The Raid last week, I was like, no, I see the comparisons. Also, another like tidbit about like the song that's used in this scene. The entire recording for this going forward in the rest of the film was actually one take. Like I did all the music here just in one shot, and it wasn't even meant to be the main take. Yep, there he is.
Bye, Ravanth.
I actually mess up when I'm playing in this. I actually mess up right around here when I'm playing, but it was on beat, so it sounds like I didn't mess up. But I still like will catch up. Like, oh yeah, I definitely messed up at that bit because I wasn't planning on having this be the main recording.
I just want to say that Logan was fantastic to work with. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, like
You should know.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Yes.
Oh no, and this fight scene. So I wrote something in the screenplay like this. This fight scene was supposed to go completely differently, but we couldn't find a fake knife, so we had to completely on location change the choreography. So this fight scene was pretty much ad-libbed.
Yeah. Also want to say something about the color grading here. While it wasn't exactly intentional, like it sure it does look a little different on this screen, but it looks slightly different on my phone.
Yeah.
I was actually inspired by the Mamoru Oshii film, The Red Spectacles, because that film has this sort of like monochrome look to it. But here it is kind of more similar to The Matrix, which I actually really dig.
Yeah.
And speak of Mamoru Oshii, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you probably haven't said Ethan, but the whole concept of the conscience. I mean, that's that. Would you say that's kind of similar to Ghost in the Shell?
A bit. I kind of leave that bit up to people's interpretation, even though I have an answer for what exactly is going on there. So. Also, this is one of my favorite shots in the movie right here, and this is actually like exactly how I imagined it when I wrote this bit in the screenplay. So,
oh yeah,
Like this was always like when I initially wrote the concept, this is how I imagined the movie ending. Like even when I didn't know other things, this is exactly how I imagined it ending.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a very like visually striking ending. For something like this. And here's a little the blooper reel.
Yeah. Also, Javi versus Doors. Javi is 0 for like 6. It's pretty bad. Also, and Sean and chat put the all for nothing line. That is my favorite line delivery that my mom did, was the all for nothing line.
Yeah, it was incredible. I loved how your mom delivered that.
Mm-hmm. It perfectly capped the movie off.
It really did.
Yeah, shout outs to Sebastian for doing a lot of sound for the film and Brabant for filling in.
Yeah. There were several times behind the scenes where Ethan and Javi would be like, working on a little something, and then Sebastio and I would be just goofing around with like the boom mic, having little ASMR sessions.
There was literally one time where I turned my back and you guys did it immediately. Oh. Okay. Okay, a little tidbit about that blooper right there. That was the first take of that day. That was the very first take, and we had set everything up perfectly, and then the door locked. And so we were all in, like all of us were behind the camera. Javi was out there and couldn't open the door, and it took 4 or 5 takes before you could actually get the door open. I think it was 4 exactly.
Yeah. I'll never forget that day. It got to a point where I was still able to shoot, but it got to a point where like my side was actually hurting from like laughing so hard.
Yeah. Oh, and Daikaiju Tony had a question about like how we did the shot where he leaves the building. The building we were filming in is a theater, and it has a kind of a lobby that the second floor overlooks the lobby, so we went up onto the second floor, and so we shot it on Davis's phone from the second floor as he walks out.
Yep. And what's up, Tony? Glad to see you here. And I'm gonna scroll up and highlight some comments. Tony says NULL was really great, especially with how much the short film accomplishes with its length. Sean says, no joke. I always thought that was a beach in the background. Sean was referring to the opening shot when we were by Travis Lofts. If you notice, there's the bank and this other like building, and past that, there's just nothing. And when Sean and I were talking about that, I actually had to go on Google Maps just to see for myself, and yeah, there's pretty much nothing there aside from like really short buildings.
Yeah.
Tony says the setup of that room reminds me of Old Boy, and wow, it actually I
can see it. I can see it. Like that's actually like, Old Boy was like when I wrote the movie was not necessarily an influence, but I can see comparisons. Yeah, actually, like when we get into talking more about it, the influences for this film are actually pretty interesting. For when I was writing it,
yeah,
because they're not like some of what you would typically think of. What I was like kind of looking for. So,
Sean says, "Yeah, I definitely get Old Boy vibes from that room."
Nice.
What's up, Big O? He says, "Very unlawful of you, Davis," referring to when we had the gun out.
Yep. Yeah, you can just blame Davis for all of that. Like, I'm kind of good with that. For how much he messed up on set, or like just messed around on set, I'm good with blaming him for everything.
Sean says, also get Bullet Ballet vibes, which is a film directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, who actually influenced my handheld style when shooting the movie, because Tsukamoto does a lot of handheld for his films, and while I may have not like realized it, I guess that is like something that sort of carried over, because I mean I love Shinya Tsukamoto. Definitely watch Tetsuo the Iron Man and Bullet Ballet, great films.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen either of them, but like I'm definitely gonna watch them at some point. That way I can actually understand where those influences were coming from.
In fact, last episode of TokuTitanCast, Sean and I did an entire episode dedicated to the films of Shinya Tsukamoto, so feel free to check that out, you guys, and the live chat. Let's see. The bloopers are the types of shenanigans I expect when Davis is involved.
Absolutely.
I think it'd also be a good time to say that there is, in fact, an extended blooper reel. There's like the shorter one at like the end of the credits of Null, but there's a slightly longer one that is available on the channel. But an even longer one, nearing like 20 minutes, is available on Patreon if you sub to the Armor Trooper tier.
Yep, and that's where you really get to see all of Davis's contributions to the shenanigans. You get to see in full all the crap he pulled and all the stuff he did, basically when my back was turned, or just when I was right there looking at him as a disapproving parent.
Yeah, there were several times where Sebastian and I were like, Sebs, quick, ASMR session. And then and Sebs would just talk about how Ethan showed him Ghost in the Shell and how it like really messed him up
his life.
Yeah,
I have absolutely no, because I showed him Ghost in the Shell, and then I showed him Invincible right after that, and then he wanted to watch the first 4 episodes, but he still blames me for all of that. So I'm good with taking the blame. I'm fine with it. I have no remorse. Like, it was worth it.
Let's see. Okay, so securing the building for the final act of Null, it was not easy. Like,
nope, it was a nightmare.
All. Yeah,
it was actually a nightmare.
3 or 5 straight days of constant emails, having to email this person, that person, that person, just to make sure we were all on the same page. So basically, what happened was we actually shot the fight scene at the end of the 3rd act first, and then everything else in that 3rd act was shot later.
Yeah, and, like a week later.
Yeah, a week later, because we have classes, other contributions, and whatnot.
We have lives.
Yeah. Okay. So at first, we called campus police to let us shoot in this little room. I did tell them that prop guns would be involved, and they were cool with it. They let us in, shoot our scene, and that was it. And then, like a couple of days later, I get an email from campus police saying, "Hey, it came to our attention that you had prop guns on campus. We're gonna have to confiscate those from you." And I was
this is also about, like, just for context, this is also like 2 or 3 weeks after we got the guns and brought them to campus. These were working BB guns, but they had no ammo. And we'd had them for 3 weeks already, and we had told them at the beginning of the 3 weeks that we had them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took them that long to get back to us to be like, yeah, we need those. So it was like, okay, very inconvenient.
Yeah, and then they also said that we can just go pick them up whenever we need them. And I was like, all right, sure. I gave them the prop guns, and then I email our professor about the situation, and then I have to email all these other people about securing the location, and one of these people, I won't mention him by name. He was like, yeah, I heard for your project that prop guns were in use. Is there a way you can use like faker looking guns from like the theater department? And at that point, we already shot most of the movie.
Is this the person? Is this the person I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You might. Okay, I might say this person's name honestly, because I feel like when we talk about the making of this movie, we have to bring this person up. So I might actually explicitly mention them by name at one point. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm warning you, I probably will.
I'm thinking of blank blank, the blank of blank.
But what? Wait.
MD. I'll just say MD.
Who in the heck are you thinking of? Is it the person was a nuisance the whole semester?
No.
Okay, we are thinking of someone different. Wait. Yeah. Okay, I know you're thinking of. Okay, I know you're thinking of now.
That's a whole different series.
Can you buy? Can you get faker looking prop guns? Oh, yeah, no, I know who you're thinking of now. Like,
yeah, and I was like, no, we we're almost done with this. The deadline is actually coming in pretty close, and then and eventually he gave gave the okay. So I had to go reserve the area. Then I emailed everyone again just to make sure we were all on the same page. And basically what it came down to was that the only reason we were allowed to shoot there that weekend was because most of the movie was already finished.
Yeah, it was also like kind of they didn't explicitly say that in the email, but it was like they did everything except explicitly say it. It was like they literally said it without saying it. So
pretty much. And we also had to put up like all these signs because the lobby in which we were shooting, it was one of like the new areas that was just renovated for for this year. It was also it was basically like a glorified study hall, and then and there are actually several times where people would try to walk in without seeing like the big red signs on the door. Or doors, I should say, because they were on every single one of them.
Or there were times people would just wait outside of them, like they had nothing better to do, and it's like, oh, okay, we're shooting this movie. We're going to be here for several hours.
It's like
you can leave now. No, it was. There were some times it was awkward, but it's like, okay, come on, guys. Even then, it was a Saturday, so it's like most people aren't even there on Saturday. So so that was, reserving that area was definitely a nightmare. Our professor also kind of made it difficult, but he made lots of things difficult. But I'll save that. I'll save that when we get further into Q&A and discussion. So, sec.
1 second. Oh, are you heading out, Ravon?
Yeah, if you need to head out, that's fine.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
All right, see you, man.
See you, man. That was a little weird.
Already, no, he put it in the chat. Did any of the cast members in NULL have any firearm training? No. What it was, several of them had training in stage combat or had done previous stuff when it came to martial arts. No one had firearms training that I'm aware of. But then again, so we had Logan had previous dance and choreography training and had done stage combat and karate. Javi had done stage combat at least, and then Pan had done wrestling and had done stage combat. So most people knew what they were doing. And then when it came to the choreography, like Davis and I did Taekwondo for like on and off for 5 years, and then Davis did Greco-Roman wrestling. So we all had a decent amount of experience, but not in the realm of firearms.
It was both Greco-Roman and folk style.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I always forget the folk style one. Yeah. So we had a lot of experience. It's just none of it was in firearms.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'll also reiterate, this is a similarity that I learned about like after I saw the raid, but like so the first raid movie, all of the bullet effects were put in post because they used BB guns as well. And so that's what we did. We had to do all the gun effects in post. So yeah, it was just a lot of empty clicking guns.
Oh, it's like poetry. It rhymes. To quote George Lucas there.
To quote George Lucas, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Bigo says, I'm just saying this though, I could easily beat every character in NULL with only one arm.
I mean, okay, Logan and Javi, maybe. I don't know about Pan though.
Yeah,
it's a big boy.
Yeah, Pan is a little larger than I am. I'll say that.
Yes.
And I mean, he also nearly kicked my head off during the audition.
Yeah, he also
Oh.
did a barrel roll during the audition, which was pretty impressive.
Oh, speaking of which, fun fact during the audition, Javi accidentally punched me in the jaw.
Yeah. So yeah, they were supposed to not hit each other. Like they were just doing like some practice moves, and then yeah, Javi actually did punch him in the jaw, which I thought was funny. So
I thought it was funny too. And who'd have thought that the guy who like punched me in the jaw would be cast as the lead role for NULL.
Yeah. And kind of speaking on his casting, I want to kind of point out like why, like specifically I was like for Javi. So the narrative of NULL, like I wrote it specifically to be a much more like there's a lot of subtle storytelling going on when it comes to emotion. Like it's not very explicit or characters aren't incredibly dramatic or open when it comes to emotion. And Javi, while a lot of the other actors did a really good job in the audition, and pretty much everyone who auditioned got a part, Javi conveyed subtlety the best, which is why he ultimately got the main role. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and plus it also kind of helps that he kind of looked a tad bit like Ryan Gosling, since NULL was partially inspired by Blade Runner 2049.
It was well. Okay, so I'll go and say this: when I initially wrote the concept for NULL, it was not a grounded thriller. It was this kind of cyberpunk thriller. But I had to change it when I pitched it to being a more grounded movie because we don't have any money for budget.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do effects. So I was like, okay, how do we actually do this? So I kind of took a lot of the tone elements came from Blade Runner 2049, but there was also some there was something I would say some Guy Ritchie influence a bit, especially when making it more of a grounded thriller. Though there was some like Guy Ritchie's generally a lot more comedic. We didn't have a whole lot of comedy, or at least intentional comedy in the film. But yeah, that's where a lot of I would say the influences kind of came from was like Blade Runner, Altered Carbon, and then kind of been making it more grounded, like kind of like the Bourne movies or Guy Ritchie films.
And speaking of budget, I just want to say that it cost $50 to make NULL. I had to pay $50 out of pocket just for the prop guns, and that was it. Aside from that, all of the equipment was rented out from the media department,
except for the music equipment, which I already owned. So
yeah,
like that was pretty much it.
There's also the editing software, which I already owned. So technically, you can stretch it to more than $4,000, but in reality, it was 50.
Yeah, it was 50 out of pocket. It was 50 out of pocket. NULL was Big Up said NULL's a tax write-off. I wish. That's if we make money on this film, but I don't know. We're putting it on YouTube, so yeah, you never know.
Sean says also got Man from Reno vibes from the short. You probably don't know what that film is, Ethan, but Man from Reno. It's another neo-noir crime thriller, and
I've heard of Man from Reno.
Oh, you have?
No, again, like neo-noir crime thrillers are kind of my thing. So
okay,
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
Okay, so you probably know that it also stars Kazuki Kitamura, who is the controller Planet X from Final Wars.
You've told me that before, and I hate every time you bring it up because I have to think about Final Wars. Okay, and just fun little just like history of our friendship. So last year, our sophomore year of college, we were roommates, and so this is near the end of fall semester. I get sick, and the thing is, I almost never get sick. I get sick for one day, and like I need to stay in bed. And Davis decides, you know what, this is a good time to torture him. With Godzilla Final Wars. And so, yeah, I was forced against my will to watch that movie because I couldn't get up to do anything about it. And so I had to witness the only movie that has more leather than the Matrix movies. But I will say this, in defense of that film, Don Fry.
Yep, Don Fry.
Nothing else. He's got a Russian hat and a katana. I don't need anything else in life. Like that's possibly the apex of cinema, and then the leather on the aliens might be the worst part. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, it's obvious. It was inspired by X-Men, Star Wars, Independence Day, like basically every late '90s, early 2000s action movie that was around at the time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, and then and Gigan. I will say, Ant Spider's Prime said, and Gigan was kind of a good part. I will agree with that. I liked Gigan in that movie.
Oh yeah, Gigan was cool. I really like Gigan.
Oh, and Sean, I'm not.
Excellent.
Yeah, I am gonna see Man from Reno, but also, it's not that I'm not a fan of leather. It's just I like every time I was watching the aliens, I'm like, wait a minute, why are they all just wearing complete leather? Like it just didn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, okay, I can kind of get it in the Matrix, but this movie, I'm like, wait, there's aliens come over, they're trying to invade, and they're wearing all leather. Like there's something about it I could not take seriously. Like I was laughing like every time I saw them on screen, or I was cringing. I do like leather though, so I will say that I don't hate leather. I own a leather jacket, but everything was leather.
Okay, but do you own a leather trench coat and a visor?
I would not be caught dead wearing a visor. I'm just saying. The trench coat I might even get, but
I mean, who knows? Planet X probably has a ton of like leather. Just
also, that's one of the edgiest names you can have. Planet X, like, come on, that's
well,
early.
I mean,
that's a definition of early 2000s, like new metal inspired edge, right there.
Well, the name came from Monster Zero, in which the alien's homeworld is named Planet X. That was mid '60s.
I'm still gonna say that it was new metal inspired angst, or whatever edginess from the early 2000s.
Although there was a pretty decent amount of early 2000s metal inspired by classic sci-fi, so you're not wrong.
I was like, not wrong. I'm aware. Okay, now back on topic. Now that we've had our long tirade about Final Wars, or it's more my tirade on leather that I've had several times at this point. So I guess. Oh, Sean, you're a big fan of crime films too? Nice. That's my favorite genre. Davis will tell you that's like the genre that that's kind of my area of expertise is that genre. Like I absolutely love it.
And I do have Ethan to thank for showing me films like Snatch, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, like phenomenal
Usual
films.
Suspects, Departed, all that crap.
Oh yeah. And you told me about Seven and that I should watch it.
Yeah.
Then I watched Seven, and then I loved it.
I was like, hey, because I asked you, I was like, so you know, like about the what is the box, like what's in the box line, right? And he was like,
What's in the box?
I'm guilty of quoting that meme. But I was like, watch the movie, you're not going to think that line's funny anymore. And he watched it and messaged me. He was like, yeah, that line's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it really isn't.
I just was like, yes. Oh, also Fight Club. I showed you Fight Club. I do want to take credit for that one.
Yes, Fight Club is another great one.
Yeah, I was like, I want to make sure I get credit for that one. So definitely Noel was inspired by a lot of those like crime films because that's my favorite genre. So I was like, I'm gonna write something that I like, and so that was kind of my biggest priority going into it. And I think Davis, you would agree with that. Like that's your kind of biggest priority. Like it was a film that we wanted to make a film that we enjoyed first, more so than anyone else, including our professor who graded the class. I keep alluding to it. I'm going to get to it eventually, in detail. But I'm just like, you know what? I'll drop hints here and there.
I think I told you about Versus. Have I?
You have told me about Versus. Yes.
Yeah. Same director of Final Wars. Zombies in the Forest.
Oh
Also has tons of. Not only does it have tons of leather, it also has dyed, spiked up hair.
Yeah, early 2000s new metal inspired crap. I also say this as someone who likes a lot of early 2000s new metal, so I am poking fun of.
I'm liking it too.
I'm poking fun of myself, and the fact that I did have spiked up hair at one point. So yeah, those were the days that I'd like to forget. And those are the days I'm glad I don't have many pictures from. I was like, yeah, because that hair was terrible.
What are you talking about? That hair was amazing.
I don't know, man. Some of that was really bad.
Yeah, I remember when we went to go see Bumblebee together. Your hair was parted to one side, and there was like a red streak there. I mean, that was pretty
Oh
cool.
no, that was right after I dyed my hair red, but I didn't actually bleach the hair, so it was just my hair was still dark brown, but had a lot of red in it. Yeah, that's back when it was side swept. Yeah, that wasn't the spiked. That wasn't even one of the faux hawks I had. So yeah, but I did dye my. And to be fair, that was slightly more inspired by MCR than new metal. I'll admit.
All right. Sean says, you'd like Bullet Ballet because the main character craps on the gang members' way of life in that movie.
That sounds like my cup of tea. It sounds like it's kind of in that same vein, like when it comes to like the humor from like Snatch and stuff like that, where people are just like insulting each other constantly, which I absolutely love that stuff.
Not many comments in the live chat popping up. Do you want to spill the beans on stuff that happened behind the scenes?
You want me to go ahead and start it? I'm good with that.
If you want to, of course.
Yeah, I'm good with spilling it. Oh my gosh, which includes leather. No, this is like the revenge. Like Yoko's not. I don't think he's here, but this is like the revenge that he's kind of subliminally getting for when I told him to pick between Tarantino and Nolan. Yeah. Leather just keeps getting brought up. I was like, yeah. This is what I get. This is what I get for tormenting him.
Anyway, Ethan, remember that time I showed you Godzilla Final Wars?
I can't forget. I will never forget. It will never be forgotten.
That was peak fall semester of sophomore year.
That was peak. I was down bad, and you were just like, here you go.
You were down horrendous.
It was so bad. That was like I felt so bad that day, and it was like, oh man, that movie. Okay, so kind of going forward into all the stuff that happened this semester. So I'll start near the beginning, and then you feel free to jump in because again, you experienced all of this too.
We suffered together.
Yeah, we definitely did. So basically beginning of the year or beginning, like this is kind of after our film pitches were picked, and mine was one of the films that were picked. We were put into groups of 3. So Davis and I were put into a group with this other girl named Layla. Davis, you know what? Would you like to go ahead and take Layla, and then I could take Brett, like kind of, and all the stuff that happened there?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So this person who we did not credit in the credits, by the way, and for good reason, which I'll go into. Mm-hmm. So, this person, okay. So we're all like talking to each other like via email. We're trying to figure out like a meeting time to get some production bits figured out. So this person says that she's good for this time at this location. Ethan and I show up. We wait like 30 minutes.
Between 30 and 45. It was between 30 because it was after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and since then she's been dead silent. And then like and after waiting for a while, she says that she was off campus and was not able to come. Just for some reason didn't feel like bringing that to our attention, and then so I just tell her, hey, I mean, our entire grade depends on this. We have to like communicate with one another because it's that big of a deal. Like this was basically our final, and we had to get it right. Yeah. And then she was like, okay, I'll never do that again. I'll be more consistent with the communication. And then
biggest meme of the semester besides Brett Bussin.
And then we never hear from her again after that.
Pretty much. Yeah, except for her to say that she was going to be going completely remote off campus because she was fasting and didn't have the energy to contribute in person, even though that was the only way she could have contributed at that point.
Yeah. so yeah, like after lots of planning, no responses and no shows, she had to get booted off.
Yeah. And then the other main roadblock with the film, I'm really going to go into detail about how he frustrated me. So I really hope he somehow doesn't know about this. But basically, the kind of to sum it up, the entirety of the semester, he was basically what we would kind of say was our studio interference. Like, after our experience with this film, I'm like, okay, I understand when a director has studio interference. Like, I can really sympathize with them now because our professor was that just constantly. Knows pretty, but
appreciate it, Sean.
Thank you, man. So like it started out with like, even the first little minor discrepancy or like the kind of discretion he had was like when he was like, okay, he picked the films, and then he was like saying, okay, here's the 3 films that were picked to be made, and here's basically what they're about. And then he labeled my film, or like what ended up being our film, NULL, as a story about hitman's psychological issues. This film has nothing to do with the psyche of the main character. And the plot, I literally even said, it's just what happens. A hitman has a crisis of conscience when he's on a job. That's the story. That I just summed it up in like 7 or 8 words. And he's like, you know what? It's about his psyche. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then all of those misunderstandings just permeated this semester. So like there would be times when it's like when I had to kind of turn in the outline for the film and what was generally going to happen, and he was cool with the outline, and there was fight scenes and stuff like that. The shootout was there. The third fight scene was not with Logan, was not in the script yet. That came later. But he was fine with the fight scenes. Then I had to start turning in like the screenplay, in which Davis helped me with. And then I started really, like, I kind of wrote out, like, Davis can like attest to this because he read the screenplay really well, and he can tell, like, he'll tell you that like my stage directions are incredibly detailed.
Yeah, like
how would you describe it, like, generally?
I think like half a page was like nothing but stage directions. Like it was that explicit. Like and I'm not trying to give you shit for that. Like huge. Yeah, like I mean that's definitely commendable, because it really shows that you really care about this, and I definitely want to like make it right as well. So I mean I was completely cool with that, but it was pretty astonishing like how detailed like basically everything was. And it also made storyboarding and the shot list much easier.
Oh yeah, no, because like instead of just being like, okay, these 2 people fight, it's like, okay, they throw this specific punch with his left hand, then he gets kicked, then he gets shoved up against a wall, then he gets grabbed and lifted up. It's like pretty much like the first fight scene, especially between Pan and Javi, that fight scene was exactly what was on the page of the screenplay. Like that one was like exact what I wrote. And I did that again to make it easy. That way people could understand how the fight scene was going to go, and that way we could get it planned. But as soon as I got specific, like our professor was fine with what I was writing until I got specific. And then I got specific, and then he was like, you know what? Could we maybe change this fight scene to one with guns instead? That way there's not as much like, up close physical violence. And I was like, well, here's the problem. The main character is supposed to be taking out a mob enforcer who's much bigger than them. As soon as you add guns into that equation, that takes away any tension that's in that fight scene. Because the main character, while he's, again, an efficient killer and he's skilled, is still supposed to be kind of an underdog scenario because he's the smaller opponent. So the tension comes from, can he actually take this dude out? If you add a gun in, anyone can take out anyone with a gun. So it removes any tension. So I was like, no, I'm not changing that. And I didn't. As you guys could see from the final product, that like wasn't changed. And it was stuff like that kind of throughout the semester where he was like, you know what, maybe change this. Or one of the ones that we keep joking about just like all the time was during the shootout,
Oh,
you want to say this one
or well, I just wanted to add that he also tried telling me 6 foot 260 pound football player that that like I and no one else like were qualified for such choreography, even though we all had experience with
wait, whoa. I didn't know that. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I thought I told you.
You didn't tell me that Brett told you that you were qualified. Because he had said what he had said that I was aware of. He's like, hey, just know that you're not professional choreographers. That was another thing that really pissed me off. I was like, we all have experience doing some kind of fighting.
Yeah,
and it's pretty apparent in what we did that there was we both had experience. But I did not. Okay, so so was that exactly what he said? Was that you were the only one who was qualified to do the choreography?
I mean, it wasn't exactly, but it was basically like along those lines. But like he didn't say it, but he did, sort of deal.
He never even talked with me about like doing any of the choreography. It's like if he had talked with me, he would have known. I would have said like, yeah, I did 5 years of Taekwondo. I have had martial arts back. I think I did mention it at one point. I think in writing that I had a martial arts background. So it was like, I'm pretty sure with several of us having experience, we could figure this out. He didn't believe in us, but
we got Paul Tackett in the chat. What's up?
And what's up, man?
Big O says, Professor just like seeing pew pew pop pop in movie.
Yeah. So that was another thing is like, yeah, he didn't believe in us when it came to fight choreography, which was like, I wouldn't say it was discouraging. It was just like, okay, just
it was just annoying.
It was really annoying because it's like, dude, you haven't even like checked to see if we again have that background that we can actually do it. And to be fair, did he even know that you had a wrestling background when he said that?
I mean, okay, so in like so you know how in like every media class we have to do like this sort of like about me page sort of thing. Like,
did you mention it?
Yeah, I always mention, hey, I wrestled in middle school and high school. I play football, and I guess he just sort of forgot.
I was like, yeah, but even then, it's like I don't tend to mention to a lot of people that I did Taekwondo, but I did it for on and off for like at least 5 years, so I do know some stuff. And so like that was one of the issues. Again, he didn't believe in us doing any of the choreography. And then when it came to the shootout, this is one of the things we've been joking about like half the semester, is that he thought it would be a good idea if. So again, there's Kieran plays the guard that survives and ends up shooting the hitman in the back at the end. So basically, to explain why Javi, who's this expert hitman, would mess up and not shoot him again and kill him, was that this guard would have his wallet fall out of his pocket when he got shot, and there would be a picture of his family. And the camera would zoom in on this, and then the hitman would have remorse and then move on.
Was like dumb.
And I was like, this is supposed to be a serious movie. I'm not trying to make this so melodramatic that it's funny. Also, there was one point where it's like one suggestion that he had was like, to communicate that he's an expert hitman, what you should do is have a montage at the beginning of him doing all these other kills. And I was like, wait, this is during COVID. You're already telling us that it's harder to shoot during COVID, and you want us to do how many other shots with lots of other characters and lots of other locations? Yes, Big O. Yes. That was our reaction. It's like, what? Why are you asking this? Oh, wait till if he sees the stream, I kind of don't care because I'm kind of okay. To be fair, he's the chair of the media department, and we're both media majors. But
we're about to be seniors. It's no big deal.
Well, and to be fair, you're taking the class with them next year. I'm not.
Hey, I'll take full responsibility.
Fair. Well, to be fair, it's my word. I'm saying it, so like he'll probably not be happy with me. I kind of don't care though. Okay, so there was the idea of the montage, which again, the montage also would have been like from the tone he was suggesting would have been fairly comedic or lighthearted. And I'm like, this is again a serious movie.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think of Hot Fuzz, and I'm just like, no, this doesn't work.
This is Hot Fuzz. No, the sequel's going to be more like Hot Fuzz, if anything. And I'll talk more. We'll talk more about that at the end.
Oh, we're spilling those beans already. Okay.
I think I'm good with spelling it already. I'm kind of good with
right.
that.
I mean, I already told my Patreon supporters, so
we'll spell it more at the end. But yeah, he just kept making these suggestions that like didn't fit with the tone of the movie, or just were like, "Hey, I don't know what subtlety is." It just like every one of his suggestions kept screaming, "I don't understand subtlety." And this is also a dude who taught a class on film noir. Again, like Sean and other people that have watched a lot of like film noir or neo noir, these films tend to be very subtle.
Yeah.
And this man
and also
does not understand subtlety.
Also like slow, quiet, not so loud, noisy, and funny.
Yep. And he's that was one of the things I was like, wait, how did I take a class from like on film and neo noir from this dude? Like, I don't understand how I did that.
Because you see, Ethan, Hobby just didn't show enough emotion.
No. One of the complaints he had, so like when we showed a rough cut of the film, he had some really dumb complaints. And one of them, which was amazing, was that's a silly big band-aid on his forehead.
It's a band-aid.
It's a regular sized band-aid, Brett. I was like, I really saw that would be like, I don't know what band-aids you're using that are like insanely minuscule, but he's got a wound on his head. I don't think a tiny band-aid's gonna work. He had that complaint, and then one of the other complaints was there any doubt that he was gonna kill these people? You guys need to learn how to write a character whose goals we care more about. And I was like, fun. That's really funny that you say that, because everyone else who saw the rough cut literally was like, yeah, I have like understood the character's motivations. I was rooting for the character, and I'm like, oh, okay, then. And so,
all right, we're good there. All you gotta do is color grading, sound effects, score, and that was it.
And those were complaints. Those were things we were already planning on working on. So it was like he had one complaint on that, and I was like, okay, I understand that. Because we were already planning on working on that, and other people had that complaint too. So we were like, yeah, we're gonna fix that. But then there's just these other complaints that are like really dumb. And then also like after when we finally premiered the finished movie, he emailed us afterward, like when we sent in our written reflections on the project, and then he was like, yeah, it seems like people enjoyed your movie. And I was like, yeah, it seems like they did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, but appreciate it.
Yeah, it's because some people are actually intelligent and can understand and perceive subtlety and can pay attention to a 10-minute movie and figure out where the two lines of exposition are that explain the whole setup. Because, like, God forbid that I trust the audience enough to think for themselves. Like, I never thought that would be a problem. That I'm like, I trust that the audience is smart enough to figure out what's going on.
And if anything, we definitely succeeded at that. I mean, a lot of people, have said that they were really invested in our main character. And they also said that they really liked the fight choreography, which those two things were the biggest, most highly praised aspects of NULL, and I honestly, that makes me happy.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I was surprised by how many people actually liked the themes or like kind of the dialogue between the conscience and the hitman, which I was really happy about, because that was one of that was for me in a sense, even though the choreography was a bit difficult, that was because I've never written dialogue for a film before. That was like definitely the hardest part of it to write for me, was just that scene where there's so much dialogue.
Yeah, and I was also a hand when it came to the dialogue as well.
Yeah,
because again, we were aiming for subtlety. We didn't just want to do all this setup jargon. We basically what we wanted to do was, okay, how would normal people talk in this situation? And we did just that.
Yeah, there's
Nothing too dramatic, just straight to the point.
Yeah,
There you go.
There's a line in the movie in the remake of Ocean's 11 where Brad Pitt's character is trying to talk to Matt Damon's character, who's trying to like play this whatever gambling official like as part of the heist, and he's like, and like one line he says, and this is actually like kind of the mentality I had when writing the dialogue, was like Brad Pitt says, don't use 7 words when 4 will do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's literally like, when you look at the first, if you actually count the word, like every line that's in the first scene, the longest line is literally 4 words. I wasn't trying to do it literally, but it was like, I went in that with that mindset of, it's like, okay, just get straight to the point and just say it. Like, you don't need to use all these words if you can communicate it in less. And so that was our mentality when we wrote the dialogue. And I think that's one of the parts I've actually ended up being really happy about with this film personally, especially since we haven't really done it before.
I also want to mention that all the lighting in NULL was completely natural. No, like there are no on-set lights or any artificial lighting like at all, and well, yeah, like it does kind of like a couple moments could have used some artificial light, but I mean, I was completely cool with it.
Oh, I was fine with it. I was fine with how it turned out. And actually, like, again, me kind of really seeing it for the first time all the way through, again, because I mentioned earlier that I just pulled my hat down over my head when the premiere was going, because I didn't want to see how anyone else reacted to the film. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna shrink down. And again, you were right next to me, so I was like, I was so low in my chair. I was like, yeah. And a lot of my friends were there too. I was like, I don't even want to see their faces. I just want to get through this movie. Yeah, so like really seeing it, like I was really happy with how the film turned out, and that we were able to really not compromise on our vision, even though we had a lot of difficulties again with our professor, who kept trying to compromise what we were going for. I think, funny enough, I think that also impacted our grade, that we kind of did what we wanted and we didn't like, we didn't really cater to him, like, because we didn't get bad grades in the class, but we didn't like get the best grade. And I was like, that's really funny, because our film, even with bias, I think our film actually turned out the best. Like, we actually accomplished everything we wanted to accomplish with the movie. Whereas with everyone else, with the other 2 movies, while they were good, there were elements I could be like, I remember they said they wanted to accomplish this and they didn't do that. So it was, again, like, I know you're proud of the film, and I definitely am as well. And again, like Bingo said, that's just how I watch movies. I'm like, yeah, that's honestly how it should be.
Yeah. Let's see.
What's the next thing you want to kind of dive about now that I've ranted about the bussin'?
Let's see. I was gonna say something, and I completely lost it.
Nice.
Like after I brought up Big O's comment there. So so you want to talk about what we got planned going forward?
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to touch on before that? I feel like I'm missing something, and I'm just not thinking of it at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like I am missing something too.
Shoot, I do also want to comment. Like, funny enough, like when I earlier mentioned that Guy Ritchie was kind of a subliminal influence on the movie. I remember when my mom first read the script, she was like, "Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a Guy Ritchie kind of thing, but mixed with something completely different." So it's really cool. I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't really see as much Guy Ritchie in it. And then, funny enough, Davis and I about a week ago went and saw his new movie, Wrath of Man, in theaters, and it was like,
it's very good.
It's a very good movie. You should watch it. It's a very serious movie, and I was like, wow, somehow in some weird time continuum, this movie somehow subliminally influenced our movie. I don't know how it did, but I was like, I know something was going on. Like, Guy Ritchie got in our heads somehow.
Oh, I remember I remembered what I wanted to mention. So, so about halfway through the movie, you see that there's blood on the Band-Aid, and then in like the next few shots, there's like no more blood on the Band-Aid. I'd like to confirm that the hitman did in fact change Band-Aids between shots.
Yeah, and that funny enough, that's one point where like someone complained about that makeup being inconsistent, and it was like, yeah, there's not really much we could do about that. But funny enough, that was the much more consistent part of the makeup. Okay, we'll let you kind of in on a little secret. So there's some makeup on Hobby's like face where he gets cut from the assassin played by Logan, and there's a line on his neck from where the cord was around his neck, like there's like strangulation marks. The day we did that scene, Logan did the makeup, and she did it like a really good job with that. When we had to do the shootout scene a week later, she was out of town, so Javi had to go run to someone's apartment, like while we were shooting, go apply makeup himself that was different makeup, and then come back. So the marks, like, it still looked good, but it looks noticeably different, and no one complained about that. No one noticed the makeup that was actually less consistent. But the part that was more consistent is the part they complained about. It was kind of, I was like, okay, I'll roll with it.
And now everyone's going to complain about it now that you pointed out.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's not that noticeable even then, but it was just like, wait, you complained about the thing that was actually consistent? Okay. I can't do anything for.
I mean, I guess because it remains so consistent, there was just that one part of it that like stuck out. That was, like, that's what made it noticeable.
Also, yeah, that kind of actually brings up like kind of loosely connected to a point I wanted to make. Like, again, because we're kind of like newer to filmmaking, obviously, from doing this. One thing that I like really learned, like one thing I really did take away from this was that like you really can't please anybody when you do something creatively like this.
Yeah.
Again, when we try to make this movie, we want to please a lot of people, and we want people to like the movie. But we wrote a film, like we made a movie that like, again, it works with subtlety and these kind of deeper themes a bit more, and that's not for everybody. Like not everybody, like even from some of the feedback we were getting early on, not everyone can do subtlety. Like I remember I was telling you this, I was like, yeah, it seems it's like a lot of people do get it, but some people, it just has to be screamed in your face what's going on, and that's not what this movie is. So it's something that like it really kind of just reinforced me. It's like, yeah, and I got more comfortable with the fact that it's like, yeah, I'm not going to please everybody with this movie. And so I think in a way that made me happier with how the film turned out, because like, yeah, we did what we wanted to do, even though there's definitely people like our professor, like some other people that like cannot handle subtlety. And it's like, yeah, they're not going to like this movie. That's okay. It's not for them. It's for a different audience. And so like, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. And again, I'm super happy with it too.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it could have turned out any better, honestly. Like, I think it turned out exactly how we wanted it to.
Yeah. Like maybe if we had like a bigger time frame between pre-production and like the final deadline, it probably could have been a tad bit better, but
okay. Also on that also kind of goes back to our professor, because he was kind of getting on everyone in the class for taking a while on pre-production, but he really didn't have any hard deadlines for anything. And we all had other classes to do with more immediate homework. So we were all working on these other classes. And then he was getting mad because we were laid back more in his class. And I was like, you do realize we have other things to do that are much more immediately due.
And you do realize that you never gave any hard deadlines. So
like, there were so many times he didn't even go on it. He didn't even go along with his syllabus, and it's like, okay, like he didn't even show us, like he didn't even have his like day or whatever on lighting until after we were supposed to have started shooting.
And then
like, it was so bad.
And then like he told us how to like clean camera lenses after we started shooting.
It was bad. It's funny looking back on it because of just how like messed up it was, but it was like, yeah, I'm kind of glad it's over at the same time.
Yeah, like I remember when I was showing you some of the footage that would eventually get replaced with reshoots. I remember you telling me that you were really getting a headache from it. because it
Oh,
just
no.
looked terrible.
Okay, no, it was the second. It was the second scene where he was walking. I'm telling this for the audience that doesn't know. This is the second scene where it was outside and he's talking with the voice a lot. And this was this is the very first day we shot. Again, we didn't see this when we shot, but it was like a week later when we were looking at the footage. The white balance on the $3,000 camera was so bad that it was making everything shaky. And even with like blue light glasses that I was wearing, I was like getting a migraine looking at the footage. I was like, I can't freaking look at this. Like, we have to go reshoot it.
It's like he's walking straight, but like they're like because it was handheld. I try to like stabilize it in post. It was still kind of like moving all over the place, which just made
the stabilization did almost nothing. It was like, oh, I'm still getting a migraine. This is still really bad.
Yeah, cell phone much better than a $3,500 camera.
Yeah, remember that, kids, when you're making a movie.
Yep.
So okay,
just because equipment is expensive doesn't mean it's good.
This is true. So, do you want to go ahead and talk about our plans moving forward, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, go ahead.
Okay, so what we are planning on doing is, again, for those, of course, who've seen the film here or saw it previously, you know that everyone dies. Which is kind of the funny thing about this movie. I didn't think about that when I wrote it, and then I thought about it after I wrote it. I was like, wait, I wrote a movie where like everyone dies. This is kind of amazing. I like this a lot. Oh, actually, I did think of one other thing I want to talk about, but we can bring it up after the future plans.
You're already becoming the next Hideaki Anno or Go Nagai, where everyone dies.
Absolutely. Actually, and the thing is, the thing I just thought of, that can be a more interactive thing with the chat. So I'm gonna kind of save that for a bit. But so going forward, what we're gonna do is write two kind of spiritual successors to NULL that are going to generally have hopefully the same cast and a lot of the same crew, but they'll be kind of similar genre, but there'll be some differences in tone or effect or kind of the action that's in it. Like and we have already titled them. The second one is going to be called Void, and the third one is going to be called Zero. So we have dubbed it kind of the Nothing Trilogy. So the first one, NULL, is the more serious, kind of down-to-earth neo-noir thriller. Void is going to be a crime comedy, much more in the vein of Snatch and like Guy Ritchie's crime movies. And then the third one, you want to talk about Zero?
I was also going to add for Void, we're basically going to do what Paul Verhoeven did with RoboCop 2, where he took all the complaints people had about the first movie and exaggerate them like to great effect in a way where it's like over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. It's going to be fantastic.
And also talk a little bit about Zero. And Zero, okay, so NULL was action noir, Void is noir comedy, and Zero will be martial arts noir.
Noir martial arts / kind of modern day samurai thing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be, that film will be tonally the middle ground between NULL and Void. Again, it'll be definitely more comedic than NULL, but it's not going to be as just outright comedic as Void is. And so I'm going to be writing those films this summer, and I'm going to have Davis help me with screenplay and all that. And then we're going to try and shoot those probably in the fall. At least Void will be shot in the fall. Worst comes to worst, we'll probably shoot Zero in the spring, and we'll have to get really creative with locations, but that'll work. Right. So yeah, so I'll say if you guys enjoy NULL, stay tuned because we are going to be working on those two films as well, and we will complete the trilogy. So
the Nothing Trilogy.
The Nothing Trilogy. It's gonna be great.
The trilogy of no value.
Absolutely. It's pretty great. And then actually, so the thing I thought of that was kind of more interactive is, so again, like Davis, something you were telling me about, like after you had shown the film to your Patreon supporters, was you were talking about how like some people had different theories about what was going on in the film, or like kind of thoughts about like the voice, like and what that was. So like I kind of wanted to I kind of asked chat, or like, and we can kind of, this is part of the, I guess, Q&A portion. Like this is kind of how we can also open it. Like, with like asking kind of what people's thoughts are on that, and like what they think it is, like what kind of some of their theories are.
I like that because I definitely have my own interpretation of the conscience, the voice that appears.
Yeah,
which I believe you said is the correct one.
I was like, I kind of don't want to, I don't want to necessarily give away what the correct one is, because again, I did have something very specific in mind when I wrote it, but I kind of just want to see, because I've heard some interpretations and I think they're really cool and they add a lot, or they put a different spin on the film. So I don't want to like give the right answer and kind of negate those other interpretations, because I think in some ways those interpretations can be correct as well. So yeah, so I guess like everyone in chat, like if you have your own interpretation of what that was and you want to kind of like put it in chat and we can talk about it or discuss it, feel free to do that. And then I think this will be the part where we go into Q&A, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and go right into Q&A. We're sitting at an hour and 16.
Nice.
How you feeling about now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I've been sitting in the same position, so my back is killing me, but you know, we're living, we're fine.
Yeah. I'm also sitting in the same position. Not good for my back either.
Yeah. At least I'm on my bed, but at the same time, I'm sitting straight up on my bed, so I'm just like,
Right.
oh, this is not really good. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to like adjust.
Not a great idea, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I'll say that.
I mean, it just do be like that.
That it do.
Spider
okay. So
says the voice is the past mistakes.
I think that's a slightly new interpretation that I've heard, and I do really like that, because I think there's a lot of validity or like to that being an interpretation, being like past mistakes that the character had because this is the life he's been living. That's a really good interpretation, Spiderus. That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Davis?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a very interesting interpretation. Honestly, I can definitely see the voice being like the culmination of everything that the hitman has done up to that point, and it just it starts to basically talk to him saying, "Hey, this isn't going to work out. You can't keep doing this."
Yeah. I think that's definitely a really good way to read kind of what's going on. I think, and that also adds a lot to the idea that like this isn't good for him, and then he needs to move on.
Absolutely. Sean says perhaps a psychological section of his mind, perhaps with the voice of someone close he used to know.
That's that's what I've heard before, and I've heard different takes on that idea as well. Like it's a different person. I'm not necessarily going to say like who specifically that I've heard like some people have interpretations of, but like that's definitely one that I've heard a fair bit, and I think is also a really cool one, because it also again brings up like the idea of past, and how that's affecting the character.
Yeah, like it also definitely raises the question: what happened to this character like before everything that we saw? Like maybe either this person like knew about what he was doing, or this person got involved in what he was doing, and if something might have happened that explains why that person is no longer present, aside from being a disembodied voice.
Yeah.
So I really dig that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good one. I kind of like Sean, I kind of want to ask, like, is there actually like a specific person that you kind of like have in mind or whatever, like, or like someone like when you're talking about like someone that the hitman used to know, like, is there like a specific, I guess, person that you have in mind that fits that role?
Like it's maybe a family member or a friend, a lover. Oh,
former lover or close friend. That is That's a good one. The former lover one I've actually heard a fair bit, which is I think a really interesting one. That's one of the ones people go to first, but I can understand that. I think it's pretty good. The close friend one, I don't know if I've heard the close friend one though. I don't know if I've heard that one. I think I've heard other ones.
Tony says the voice could be someone he's killed in the past.
This is gotta be one of my absolute favorite ones that I've heard.
That's very new. I never heard that one before. Great job, Tony. That's a really good one.
That's a good one. That is a good one. That's one of my favorite ones that I've heard. And again, like, so you never know. One of these could actually be the correct answer that I have. It's just, to be fair, a lot of these, like, and it says I maybe thought about, but like I haven't heard people say it. So it's really cool that you guys are like coming up with a lot of these different interpretations, and I'm really liking what you guys are coming up with.
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. And and funny enough, that also kind of reminds me of Tetsuo the Iron Man, because basically the plot of that movie involves a salaryman who accidentally runs over a guy who has like a fetish for sticking metal in his body, and then like later in the movie, that it turns out that same guy is still alive and he comes back to haunt him.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I really dig that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Actually, that's pretty dope. Okay, so like also guys, like if you have any questions about like the making of the movie or behind the scenes stuff or dumb stuff Davis did, yeah, feel free to put that in chat as well. Oh no! I see the question. He's
Sean,
digging deep.
You're really asking for it.
Here we go.
All right,
I gotta get ready.
I'll be back in an hour.
You'll be back next year. Okay,
Yeah.
So favorite crime movies. Where do I begin? I have to shout out Guy Ritchie, of course. I've shouted him out several times, but like Snatch, Lock, Stock 2, Smoking Barrels, The Gentleman. Those are three of my favorite. Guy Ritchie's probably my favorite director, or he's one of my absolute favorite directors. So like films like Snatch and Lock, Stock have been really influential to me, and I absolutely love them.
I mean, he's easily one of like the most unique directors working right now.
Oh, absolutely. And then of course I have to add Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, the early Tarantino movies, of course. Though I'm gonna go ahead and say this: Reservoir Dogs is the better movie.
Yep. Yes, always.
Y'all heard it here. I will also want to state for the record, I convinced Davis that Reservoir Dogs is the better movie. He at first thought it was Pulp Fiction, and then I was like, nah, you've got it all wrong. And then we watched it, and he was like, you know what, you're right. I was like,
yeah.
Pulp Fiction's amazing, though. I do want to state Pulp Fiction is amazing. I just think Reservoir Dogs is better. So I'm going to, those two kind of go in there as well. Also a huge fan of... Hey, Sean.
Sean also agrees.
Yes. Great minds think alike. And then let's see. So I'm also a fan of like Seven and Fight Club from David Fincher. Those are great movies. The Usual Suspects, I think.
Usual Suspects is amazing.
It's one of the, if you want to talk about like pacing in a movie, that movie is perfectly paced. It's an hour, 40 minutes. It does everything it needs to do. And it doesn't feel too crammed, and it actually feels pretty long. Like when you watch it and you're like, this is only an hour and 40 minutes. They do so much with the time that they're given. And also the acting is fantastic in that movie. And that's a movie I can literally watch like every day and still absolutely love and get more out of the plot because there's so many twists and turns. So that's another one. Martin Scorsese's The Departed and Goodfellas are also up there. I'm going to actually get to the Spider-Verse question in a second, but yeah, Departed, that movie is just amazing. I love it. I also love the original Infernal Affairs that it was based off of, though I do think The Departed is superior. So I also said Goodfellas is a fantastic movie. Michael Mann's Heat is also, I think, did I make you watch that, Davis, or do you still need to see that?
You were going to make me watch it, but then COVID happened.
That's right. Yeah. I still need to make you watch it. That's an amazing movie. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro give some like just A+ amazing performances. And it's directed really well. If you've seen, for those of you who haven't seen it, if you've seen The Dark Knight and you've seen the opening bank heist, that was heavily inspired by Heat. Christopher Nolan even said so himself that it was inspired by Heat. Also, fun fact: Christopher Nolan also he kind of he moderated an anniversary panel for Heat with Michael Mann and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. So obviously he was a big fan of that movie. Okay, so I would say those are a lot of my favorite crime movies, though I could go on for a long time, so I'm not going to do that.
I especially enjoy like lots of those, especially Reservoir Dogs, Snatch, Seven, Fight Club. Those are all incredible. And you still need to show me Heat and all these other films. I still need to show you Man from Reno and Bullet Ballet. Those are pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is true. You do still need to show me those ones.
And eventually we're gonna watch the new Old Boy together, right?
I've already seen the new Old Boy. I saw it years ago, and I still remember it.
No, the
old
original.
Boy. The old, yeah. Wow. I still need to see the old.
I'm dumb.
I've seen the new one. I need to see the old one. I do still plan on seeing the old one. Also, Trainspotting. I just remember Trainspotting. That movie is also
Trainspotting is great.
I love Trainspotting. I love that movie. It's hilarious. So I kind of want to move on to Spider's Prime's question real quick. So what other kaiju movies have you seen? I will go and say this: like I'm familiar with a lot of kaiju movies, and I grew up with like Godzilla video games, like Destroy All Monsters Melee and Godzilla Unleashed. And I grew up with some of the old movies, like Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and the original Destroy All Monsters. I'm not the most, I will say I'm not the most well-versed in kaiju movies. That's Davis's department, much more than mine. But I have seen all the new MonsterVerse movies. I actually just went and saw Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters with my brothers and my dad earlier today because we wanted to go and see. We wanted to actually see it and get the theater experience, and it was a really good theater experience.
Oh, did you see it in IMAX?
Not in IMAX, so we just saw it in the theater, but it was still really good.
I saw it in IMAX, and it's definitely a movie that you're easily gonna appreciate it. Like, I mean, yeah. Just in a theater setting in general, like it definitely needed that sort of scope.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree. Like Godzilla vs. Kong. I keep saying it in the wrong order. Godzilla vs. Kong was definitely a really good theater experience. I'll say that. So I've seen the MonsterVerse movies. I've seen Final Wars. There's a number of other.
Godzilla.
I've seen the original Godzilla. That is true. I had to watch it for a class. There's a number of other,
and also Shin Godzilla. I showed that one to you.
Shin Godzilla. That is true. There's a number of there's several of the older ones I actually have seen, but I saw them when I was really young. So I saw at least one of the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla ones. I think there was one where, which one is it where like Godzilla is kind of evil, and so the humans pilot Mechagodzilla to defeat him?
Okay, there are three like that. One was in the 90s, and then there are two in the 2000s. Now, in the movie, was it just Godzilla and Mechagodzilla?
Just Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, yeah.
Okay, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. That is a great one.
That's the one. Because I think Mothra also has a little bit in it.
Wait, like how long was Mothra in?
I don't remember Mothra in the movie that long.
Did Mothra have some sort of role as like a side character of sorts, or was Mothra?
Again, I saw this when I was really young. I do remember a shot though of like there's like this house or whatever, and there's some kids that run out to like the balcony. And it's like snowing outside, and then Mothra's like
the Tokyo SOS. That's the one after against Mechagodzilla.
Oh, that's Tokyo SOS. Okay,
yeah, it's all right. Against Mechagodzilla is way better.
I think I probably saw both of those actually. And I think I'm just because I was young, I'm mixing the two together. So yeah, I've seen a number of them. Again, I did see Destroy All Monsters. I saw Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster. There's a number of the ones I still need to see. But I've at least seen a bit that I know what's going on in kaiju movies. Like I'm decently familiar with them. I'm just not as familiar as Davis. Again, crime thrillers are more my forte.
And since they're a staple to the channel, I showed you the live action Attack on Titan movies.
Yeah, you did. You did show me that.
Yeah.
Trying to remember
See.
something. Davis worked. Yes,
Yeah,
he did.
yes,
It's amazing. We didn't know he could do it, but yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do you like that. And then,
It's all good.
when do you think slow pacing in a crime movie goes too far? Like when it gets boring? Ooh, that's a real. I have to think of an example of this. To be fair, I'm someone who like I can if slow pacing is done well and stuff still happens, I'm fine with it. Like I'm good with movies that like are a bit of a slow burn. Like Drive, for example, is a fairly slow burn. Until like the very end. Like that movie picks up. But like I think you would agree that like Drive with Ryan Gosling is a pretty for the most part, it starts up pretty slow and it's done well.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just it can go too far when you don't either have the audience invested in the characters, or I would say invested in characters, or there needs to be something, even if it's small, you need to have your interest. Like you either need to be building to something, or you need to keep the audience's interest.
Oh yeah.
So I think it becomes boring when you don't either have the audience invested in the characters, because generally when it's slow paced, you need that. Even more than a fast-paced movie where stuff's just happening, or you need a lot of things that are just well-timed just to pique your interest just a bit more as it goes on. So that's what I'll kind of say on that. I think it goes too far when you don't do those things.
All right. We got Shay Smithers in the chat. He's also a regular on here. What's up?
Oh, awesome.
Watching Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind. That's a great one.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's good. I'll say that.
Hard Boiled is another great one. I love Hard Boiled.
I have not seen that either, actually.
Oh, Hard Boiled is very good. Going back to favorite crime movies, Police Story. That's a great one.
Absolutely. Police Story and New Police Story, which I had to watch and write a paper on recently, is also really good.
Nice. I've only seen the first two. I still need to watch the rest.
You haven't seen Super Cop. Super Cop I would say the best Police Story movies are the original, Super Cop, and the New Police Story. First Strike is still good. Like, it's a movie that like you cannot take it seriously at all. It is like ridiculous, but it has like one of Jackie Chan's coolest fight scenes. It's I'm assuming you've seen clips where like he's fighting and he's swinging this giant ladder around.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That's First Strike. So it has some good fight scenes in it. You just can't take it seriously at all. Like it's barely connected to the other movies as well, but it's still good. Yeah, I will also add Police Story and that to my list.
Would you guys count Leon the Professional as a crime movie if you've seen it? I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it. Fun fact, I bought it literally like a day or two ago because I've been planning on watching it, but I watched the Raid movies first. But I literally am going to watch it like tonight or tomorrow. I would count that as, from what I know about it, I would count it as a crime movie. I know there's a good bit of action in it, but to me, it seems very much like somewhat in the vein of like a Taxi Driver. I kind of see some similarities there, so I would count it.
All right. Let's see. Paul Taggart says Once a Thief. Is that a movie?
I'm not familiar with it if it is.
Yeah. We got Tony and Sean arguing about the turtle episode from Ultra Q and how that's the greatest crime story.
I just want to plug that I got you the Ultra Q set. Every time Ultra Q's brought up, I'm like, yep. I was like, I got that one. One.
Easily one of the best Christmas presents I ever gotten. Thank you so much for that.
No problem, man. Hey, you got me that shirt you made as well. Which also in the main bloopers, during when we were shooting the first fight scene, this is just a funny also tidbit. I was wearing a Metallica shirt that has like the Metallica letters kind of translated into katakana, which is again one of the Japanese alphabets, which Davis made after I actually told him how to write it. And then he in the blooper reel plugs where you could buy the shirt like when I walk up close on screen. And I was like, oh my, I can't believe you just did that.
She is asking favorite creature movie that like isn't kaiju.
Favorite creature movie.
You've seen John Carpenter's The Thing, right?
Absolutely. I despise horror for the most part, but I love that movie.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like
I think that movie's fantastic.
yeah, it does a really great job with its atmosphere, and I feel like that's like the one thing horror films need to get down correctly is atmosphere.
Mhm.
You really okay, so you're making a horror movie. The one emotion you want to evoke from the audience is fear. Like, how do you get people to, have fear? Is to build a setting that is fearful and sucks them right in. Don't be like the new Grudge movie where the whole thing is just boring.
Yeah. No, and that's actually one thing I also like about newer movie. There's some newer movies that do it right, like a Quiet Place. Actually, that movie nails tension and atmosphere very well. Actually, like
Oh yeah,
I actually like do find those movies pretty good. But like that's one thing it actually does really well. So like yeah, it's not the scariest movie, but it does have a really good atmosphere and it handles tension phenomenally. But I will say the favorite creature feature that's not kaiju, I would give to The Thing. I think I
yeah.
have to on principle.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably my favorite as well.
Yeah. How Shay had a question about horror comedy movies. Um
Uh,
it's the
oh,
bottom one. How am I seeing this and you're not?
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Alright.
I don't tend to watch a lot of horror. Again, I really don't watch horror very much because it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm not really that versed in horror comedy. Unless you count Shaun of the Dead as horror comedy. But that's more just comedy than anything.
Yeah. That's what the Iron Man is, a horror comedy, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not that. I really can't speak that much to that subgenre.
I still need to show you Tetsuo of the Iron Man.
Oh, Once a Thief has Chow Yun Fat. Ooh,
Oh,
he's a good actor.
okay.
I like Chow Yun Fat.
Yeah, there are plenty of Chow Yun Fat and John Woo films I need to check out. I hear A Better Tomorrow is a great one.
Yeah. And I still need to check out Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which, as someone who loves martial arts movies, is kind of a crime that I still haven't seen. Perhaps give. I think he's told me the premises for both these films before.
Yeah, I have.
I was like, yeah, I do want to see both of those actually. I just haven't done it yet because Davis will tell you I'm watching movies pretty constantly. Like I'm watching new things. Like again, I didn't see the Raid movies till last week. I bought and watched both of them, and I love them so much.
I mean, they're amazing films.
I don't understand how they made the second one better. Like the first one was fantastic.
It's like. I mean, you were telling me, okay, how did they make this already phenomenal film even better?
Yeah, like, okay. I just want to go and ask you real quick before we get some of the more of these questions.
I mean, 2 words: kitchen fight. Kitchen fight.
Okay, no. What are your favorite fight scenes in each film? I just want to see what they are because I'm gonna give mine, but I want to hear yours.
God, you're really putting me on the spot here.
I am putting you on the spot. I know what mine are. Do you want to go and give mine?
Go ahead and give yours.
Rama and Andy 2-on-1 with Mad Dog.
Yes,
in the first one. Though to be fair, the fight with Jaka and Mad Dog is also really good. Also, Rama's second hallway fight scene with the guys with the swords or the machetes. That's a really good one. But then the second movie, that's a really hard one. I'm probably gonna feel kitchen fight, but the fight in the bathroom is fantastic.
I love that car chase. That was
that's
amazing.
That's my other one. I was like, that's like my close second is the car chase fight scene. And also when he fights Hammer Girl and Baseball Batman.
Yeah.
That fight scene is fantastic. Let's see. Favorite animated movies, anime or otherwise. Ooh, that's a good one.
Ghost in the Shell is one.
Ghost in the Shell, Akira. I'm looking at my
which we saw together in theaters in 4K.
It was pretty sick. I'm looking at my movies right now to see which ones I would count as like some of my favorite animated movies. Batman Under the Red Hood. I will give that one.
That's a very good one.
That's a fantastic one.
Mask of the Phantasm.
I actually still haven't seen Mask of the Phantasm. I know everything about the movie. Like I know the plot.
It should be on HBO Max. I believe it's on HBO Max.
I'll watch it. But I think I've had the entire story spoiled for me, but I still want to watch it. Ghost of the Shell 2. Ghost of the Shell 2 is also really good.
Yep.
I do have to say that.
Fist of the North Star.
I wouldn't count that as one of my favorites. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't count it as one of my favorites.
That's fair.
Because the story was very jumbled together, but that's kind of how it was. Like, you can't even argue with that one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the anime is bad. I'm saying the 86 movie.
Because they basically rearranged a bunch of stuff to try and make it more cohesive.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? Animated movie from 86 is also amazing, but not for the right reasons. What? Transformers.
Oh yeah.
That movie is so unapologetically hilarious.
Yeah, I remember like freshman year, I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about rewatching Transformers the movie. Want to watch it together?" And then we were talking about how it was this awesome thing from our childhoods. Then we watch it, it's like, wow, that wasn't as great as we remember it being.
No, it was very different because it was like, this is such an unabashed 80s movie. Like, it has freaking Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al Yankovic in the score. Also, Optimus dies in the beginning, for those of you who haven't seen it. I don't care about spoiling it. It's literally been 35 years now.
Yeah.
0 out of 10 for that, because when I was a kid, Optimus Prime was my boy. I loved him.
I mean, he was my childhood hero as well.
And it was like, you killed him. I was like, screw this movie. I'm done. I'm out.
I mean, sorry we killed Optimus Prime. However, we have this shiny new toy who's going to be the next leader.
My gosh. So I would say those are a lot of my favorite animated movies, though I do love some of the Disney ones, like not the newer ones, but like Incredibles, I think is a really good, well-written movie.
Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorites.
Emperor's New Groove is amazing. I have a shirt for that movie.
Nice.
I argued with someone about like that being one of Disney's best movies ever. This person disagreed, and I was like, "It's okay to be wrong," because that movie, the comedy is so well timed. It's amazing. So let's see. Red Spectacles, Sean. That is one actually that Davis has talked to me about. I am going to watch that at some point.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a tokusatsu noir comedy art house film.
Yeah, like I'm definitely into what's going on there, so I'm gonna end up watching that. Then there's Primal. It's a Chinese ghost story horror comedy. I might watch it again. I'm not that big into horror. Like, it's only very specific horror films I'll watch. It's like The Thing, Quiet Place, which is more of a thriller to me.
Going back to non-kaiju creature features, you've seen the original Alien, right?
Oh yeah, that's another fantastic. I would watch that. Like, that's horror, but I would watch that.
Oh yeah, I love the original.
That's
Alien.
up there as well. Like, that's up there with John Carpenter's
Aliens.
And Aliens. Those are both fantastic movies.
Hey, what's up, Jay? Jay's another regular on here.
And then Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon is bussin'. I know. I need to see it.
Sequel that was booty sauce.
What sequel?
Oh,
we don't count. There's no freaking sequels.
Was there a sequel?
If there is a sequel, I don't. If there's a sequel, I'm not even going to consider it as existing. Because if the only sequels in martial arts movies that tend to be pretty good is The Raid or most Jackie Chan ones. Because a lot of time Jackie Chan sequels somehow get better. Like with Drunken Master, the third one is actually the best one. Same kind of with Police Story, even though the first Police Story is amazing. Like Police Story and Super Cop are kind of even, but like when it comes to like Drunken Master is amazing, but Legend of Drunken Master is even better.
Is there going to be a NULL to St. G's Revenge? Sorry, Jay. We already announced that the next one is going to be called Void.
It is going to be a comedy.
Yeah. Vapor Dreams, what up? NULL 2, The Wrath of Booty Sauce.
I'm not gonna grace that comment with my response. I hate it so much.
Once again, great job on NULL, my dudes. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Jay.
Thank you so much,
for
man.
that.
Really appreciate the feedback.
Don't be dissing on the 80s Transformers movie.
I will diss on it. I still love that movie. I will diss on it all I want because it's so funny. Like, I legit, again, it's like, it's not as good as I remembered it, but it was so much funnier than I remembered it being.
Yeah.
Because it's so bad, it's amazing. Like, I love it. So, like, and to be fair, you and I did a project in our freshman year on that movie, so we had to watch it. So I was like, I still enjoy that movie a lot.
Yeah.
So I can still have a fun time. It's just like, as when you like look at the writing, it's just not a great movie, but that's what makes it funny a lot of the time. Or it's just like, we're gonna be so 80s.
Yeah. Shay said, now take it easy, man. And NULL was pretty cool. Appreciate it, Shay.
You take it easy, and yeah, thanks for the feedback.
It's getting Transformers movie is getting to 4K. All right.
Really? Okay.
High Risk with Jackie Chan for car chase. Have you seen High Risk?
No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of his movies. I haven't seen every single one though, because he's done so many. Like, it's really hard to have seen every one of his movies because he's done literally so many.
Keep it good work, guys. Gotta go. Appreciate it, Jay. Take it easy.
Thank you, man.
There was a sequel and it was awful for a Tiger hit.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm saying this right now. It doesn't exist.
Optimus Prime's death scene, though, is genuinely well done. Yeah,
it's well done, but do I want it? No, absolutely not. Like, never. It was done better in the live action movie, or like I understood it more in the live action movies. In the live action movies, brought him back.
And that's Revenge of the Fallen, mind you, the greatest movie of all time.
Yep. By the way, this is also me. This is not me like endorsing those movies. I'm just saying at least they brought him back. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Ethan, you know that the live action Transformers movies are peak cinema. For the fifth one, I'm not giving the fifth one any points.
Yeah, I was like, I'll say this. I was swayed after watching Epic Rap Battles of History and Michael Bay coming in and just being awesome. So.
Paul Taggart says Chinese ghost story predates Army of Darkness. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Let's see.
Speaking of story, that is true. That's okay. Blade Runner 2049. I kind of want to talk about this one a bit because this is something that you and I have talked about in our free time, where it's like it's a sequel that's like it is. I think it's actually better than the first movie, even though I think Blade Runner 24, the original, is a masterpiece, or at least the final cut. But when it comes to like a movie that I'm gonna more readily rewatch, I'm gonna go probably to the first one more. And it's like it's the same thing with like the Terminator movies, like where I think the second one is better, but I'm gonna go to the first one more. Like it's a really weird thing where it's like in those two cases, I'm gonna go to the first one, even though I don't think it's as good of a movie.
Yeah, like I absolutely love Blade Runner 2049, and I am of the opinion that it is better than the first movie. But that is not to diss on the original. I absolutely love the original, especially the final cut. I actually watched the final cut in theaters last year, and my God, it was a beautiful experience.
Oh, I bet. And then, let's see.
Hear that, Disney? That's how you follow up a sci-fi classic years later. Although I'm not sure what movie you're talking about, Sean, but Tron Legacy was a great follow-up to the first Tron.
I think I know what he's talking about. I agree. I don't think he needs to say what it is because I think I know exactly what it is.
Wait. Oh,
I'm amazed you didn't figure that out till right now.
I completely forgot those movies existed until now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to be remembered that they existed. No one named them in chat. Please, no one name them. We're not gracing them with talking about them explicitly.
That one TV show was cool though.
Which one? The animated one?
That and the other live action TV show.
Oh yeah, that one. Also, I heard the new animated TV show is actually pretty good too.
Oh, okay.
I'm hearing good things about it. It's like the similar to Clone Wars kind of thing. So yeah.
I dig Tron Legacy. Yes,
I've heard that's really good. I need to see Tron Legacy.
It's
I enjoy the original. Yeah.
Daft Punk soundtrack is based. That it is. Love me
funny.
some Daft Punk.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't mind Daft Punk. I just don't ever go out of my way to listen to them. But that's because like I've told you into more harder techno. If I do listen to electronics, so
I gotcha.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so Chinese Ghost Story was directed by Sui Hark. All right.
Interesting. Definitely interesting.
Okay, so for now we fully caught up with questions.
We finally fully caught up with the chat.
Yeah,
After like
and
30 minutes.
We're sitting at an hour and 50. Are you good on time?
I'm good on time. Yeah, I'm good on time. Like I think if we like do a few more questions and kind of talk about them, then I'm good. Like so I'll say like guys, if you want to ask any more questions, like go ahead and put them in chat. And I think Sean went ahead and asked one.
Was Taxi Driver an influence on Null?
I don't think explicitly. To be fair, I've seen a bit of Taxi Driver. I actually have not seen all of it. I'm guilty of not having finished it, even though I started it. I guess that was like that would be a film I would categorize as maybe like an unconscious influence, kind of like how a lot of the Guy Ritchie movies were kind of unconscious influences to me. Yeah, I'll kind of count as that, but I don't think explicitly it was an influence on Null. Though I could see if you drew parallels between the two, I could understand that.
All right.
Especially with how both movies portray like kind of the city or like kind of that rundown downtown kind of thing.
See, Freezing Wisdom asks, what's the most expensive DVD you ever purchased?
Probably one that was $10 at a store, like at Walmart or some crap like that. I don't buy extensive DVDs. I'm more of a CD collector than anything.
I bought
guitars.
I bought an out of print copy of Son of Godzilla for $60. And
It sounds like a waste of money.
Yeah, in hindsight, it was, considering that it's readily available on HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece, disturbing as hell, though.
Oh, yeah. Taxi Driver is definitely disturbing. It is definitely disturbing, I'll tell you. Like, I know enough about it to be like, yeah, it's disturbing.
I still need to check it out.
Yeah. CDs, remember those? I was like, I still buy CDs, like, legit. Like, I still collect CDs because I like having hard copies of stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I have a freaking boombox that plays CDs, so. And even like my first music player was a CD player, so like I'm old enough to actually remember CD players.
Physical media is the best media. Remember that.
Yeah, it's also a great way to support artists as well.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of artists, especially like for those of you who don't know, again, because like music is another one of the things that I'm much more like. That's one of my big focuses. Streaming services pay musicians nothing and are like kind of treat them like crap. So if you like buy merch or buy like physical media, that actually supports them way more. And to be fair, vinyls are also great. I need to get into collecting vinyls, but I need a vinyl player, and I don't have that at the moment. I'll get that eventually.
Yeah, my little brother has been collecting vinyls.
Nice. My dad still has some vinyls actually. I remember VHS tapes. That's my childhood. That was most of what was being played in my like. I'm old and like you and I are old enough that it's like kids a few years younger than us won't remember VHS tapes, but like when we were really young, that was still like the main thing as DVDs were coming in. So like we still have a bunch of VHS tapes in my house. So I was like I'll talk to people younger than me, and it's like, yeah, I used to watch VHS tapes, and they have no idea what that was like. So,
it's pronounced Troy. My bad.
Okay. Oh, then Kentaro Miura. I did hear about that the other day.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
That was really sad.
Yeah, definitely like a huge. Like he was easily one of the biggest figures in manga, and I do hear that like his pupils are willing to continue the story of Berserk.
Yeah, I mean, because it was going through his death, so like yeah.
Let's see.
High and Low, directed by Akira Kurosawa. I need to watch a lot more Kurosawa movies.
I think it's on HBO Max. It should be on HBO Max.
I'm guilty. Again, I've studied Japanese for 4.5 years, and I'm a big crime movie person. And again, I'm also an East Asian Studies major, aside from being a media studies major, and I have not watched much from Akira Kurosawa. It's actually kind of a crime.
You're a fake fan, a big fat phony.
Yep. I'm just not even here anymore. I'm fake. I have been exposed for what I truly am.
How dare you not watch every single movie by a director you like?
Yep. Honestly, it's like I love how people like you like. Occasionally, I'll talk with people, and it's like so. Like, funny enough, there's some what are deemed like classic American movies that I haven't seen, and then I have people that are like, "Why haven't you seen that movie?" And I'm like, "Dude, I've seen like 20 times more movies than you have. Like,
Yeah.
come on, I can't see every movie that ever was released."
Phony that is big and fat.
Woo!
Yeah.
Calling the 5'10", 150-pound guy fat. Let's do it.
as opposed to the 6 foot 260-pound guy.
I still think it's funny because like just seeing you and me stand next to you, it's like 6 foot 260, 5'10" and a half, 155, and it's like, yes, this is how we roll.
Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
I hate you. Okay, so another story time for our friendship. So, beginning of this year, junior year, we're moving into the dorms, and Davis, through some miracle of God, became an RA. And he's the one on call that day for people moving in. So I call the RA's office to go and move in. He's like, "Oh yeah, let me get your paperwork real quick." And then he immediately starts playing Rollin' over the phone super loud, so it like blows my ears out. Then after I moved in, like I'm moving in, I open the door to my room and I walk in. Nothing's in the room. Like it's just the bare stuff that's there, except a DVD copy, mind you, of Fred Durst's The Fanatic movie. And it's just slang against the mirror. And I'm just like, what have you done? And the other ironic part is that I like to have the blinds in my room a certain way, and Davis likes to have it the opposite way. So like the year we were roommates, we would like I would have to like mess with it all the time, and the blinds were the way that he liked it. So I thought he messed with the blinds. Then he's like, "No, I didn't do that." I was like, "Oh, so it was just perfect for messing with me." That's what you're saying.
It was the perfect plan. It was a fantastic welcome back gift.
Yep. Funny enough, I have the Fanatic in my room right now, and I'm actually looking at it. It's in a box, but I can still see the top of the movie. So like,
oh, is it just the eyes of John Travolta just staring at you?
It's just a little. It's a very tiny. It's because it's the side of the box. It's just like the little head of John Travolta.
Oh, so he's just peeking from the side.
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
five and let us leave.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sean definitely has a reputation of being 4'10" and 12 years old. I'm kidding. He's not actually 4'10" and 12 years old. Maybe he is. Who knows?
He's 4'11" and like 14 or some crap like that.
Yeah. Even though he's actually way older than that. I think I told you.
Yeah, I was like, I think you told him. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you said he's older than both of us. So I was like, oh. That's unfortunate. Hey, he's not as short as my friend James, though, who's 5'4". It still looks like he's 12. I
think I told this story before on this little show here, but like first time I met Sean in person was at G-Fest, and at the time his profile picture on social media it's very similar to the one he has like here on YouTube now, but he has like a little bit of facial hair. There is like some hair gel. It's spiked up a little, and because of the lighting, he definitely looked like he was older than me. And then I see this like small, skinny man with a question mark.
Oh my gosh!
And funny enough, Akira Takarada, who was one of the special guests at G-Fest, mistook him for a child. In fact, when Sean went to go meet him for like autographs and whatnot, Takarada was like looking around as like and he asked, "Are you lost? Are you okay? Where are your parents?"
I want to point this out. When the Japanese guy thinks that you're a child because of how short you are, and the Japanese people generally are shorter, that's you know you might be down bad. Fanatic is base cinema.
Cinema.
I will say though, hey, when you're at 5'5", though, you're only 1 inch off from the optimal height for respecting women, which Charlie, or he's also known as Moist Critical or Penguin Zoe, said is 5'6". So you were almost the perfect height.
Yep.
in the eyes of Charlie. So I will say that
we're a little bit over 2 hours. You want to go ahead and call it?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get some maybe last minute questions, like just if anyone has like one last thing they want to say, and then we can go ahead and head off.
All right, I'm gonna take a sip of my Gatorade real quick.
You do that. Of course, he's got the Gatorade.
Yeah, it's become a staple of TokuTitanCast. It's not TokuTitanCast unless I'm like pounding Gatorade. Let's see.
Captain America movies, Thriller. The second one, Winter Soldier is a political espionage thriller mixed in with a superhero movie. The others are not.
Yeah, and although Winter Soldier, best MCU movie. Unless we want to throw Venom in there, because there has been back and forth as to whether or not that's in the MCU. But
Davis,
if so, Venom,
Davis,
best movie of the MCU.
I'm gonna drive to your freaking house just so I can come slap you and then drive back. I'm not even gonna say anything. It's just to be like, just free come to the door. Bam, I'm leaving.
Am I going to be this armless, legless, faceless thing rolling down the street like a turd in the wind? Do you
Davis,
feel me?
This is why I had to be the parent on set and just be like, Davis, stop doing stupid crap. Oh my gosh. Daikaiju Tony said, you play PS1 or SNES? I actually had a PS1 when I was a kid, and I think we still have that PS1. Actually, it's somewhere. And we played a few games on it. And I think we used to have an SNES at some point. And I've definitely played some SNES games. I do enjoy those a lot.
Let's see. I'm taller than Sean, and I can beat him in a wrestling match.
Hey, to be fair, don't cut out the small skinny guys. Like, because to be fair, skinny guys can fight hard. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You never expect the skinny guys to be the ones that are good fighters, but like you look at MMA, a lot of the good fighters are the skinny dudes. Just saying.
I mean, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, like that's another good example. A lot of the featherweight or lightweight fighters. And Sean, I will agree with you. I tend to prefer Dr. Pepper over Gatorade. Though both aren't the
dare
best.
You?
both aren't the best for my diet, but you know, if I had to pick one, I have to be a little bit biased.
Let's see. Fireworks Studio Godzilla trilogy re-release. Probably not, because there's a lot of red tape surrounding that, and Toho is a bit picky with that. Spires Prime says, "I have Venom on DVD."
Don't you have Venom on DVD, Davis? Yeah, you gave me the code for it.
Yeah, I have the Steelbook from Best Buy.
That's right. Okay, and Spiders, I'll say this about Venom. Don't go into it as a serious movie. If you go into it and you try to take it seriously at all, it's a bad movie. If you go into this thinking it's going to be a comedy, even if it's unintentional, it's an amazing movie. It's an amazing time.
Yeah,
but you have to.
I mean, it was heavily like inspired by Lethal Protector, which it wasn't completely serious. It did have its comedic moments in there.
And to be fair, once Venom gets on screen, it has his buddy cop bromance with Eddie. It's amazing.
Oh yeah,
like the movie is funny as heck, but there are parts of it you're supposed to take seriously. You just can't take seriously. Like, just don't take any of it seriously, and you're fine. Also, looks like Sean might throw hands with Tony. I kind of want to see this.
Koichi in the red spectacles is proof that size matters not.
No. You want to know proof that size matters not? The Raid, because the main Iko Uwais and the Raid. Iko Uwais and some of the other guys like Sisap Ramen, and I think it's Ruhian is his last name, who played Mad Dog, and another guy in the second movie. All those guys are like 5'5", because Indonesians are short generally, except for Joe Taslim, who's 5'10". but he's also half Chinese, so he has a little bit of an excuse.
Okay. There's this one movie that Jared Taslim is in. It's called, I believe it's called The Night Comes for Us. I think.
Oh no, I've seen a bit of a fight scene for it because he fights Iko Uwais in it as well. I want to see. I want to see that
one.
I want to see that movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I definitely want to rewatch it. Out of curiosity, did you like Shin Godzilla?
Yes, I did like it a lot. I actually liked it more because I rewatched it after I watched the original Godzilla movie. So I've seen it more than once. I do really like it because I think it carries a lot of the spirit of the original, but it focuses a lot on the realistic political implications and a lot of the interesting kind of bureaucracy that goes behind it. I will say though, Davis knows my one thing about this movie.
Yeah.
I think I have to go into it. So again, like I've taken Japanese for a number of years, so I do understand it for a bit of it. But there's some times. This is something that just generally annoys me. It also annoys me in Japanese music when they do this. When they will switch from like Japanese to English and it sounds like really bad English, and they'll switch back to Japanese. And they do that in this movie several times, where it's like characters will just be talking and they switch to English and it's really bad English. And some characters it's fine because it's like the main character is like a Japanese diplomat, so it makes sense that his English maybe isn't the best because it's his second language. But then there's the girl character who is supposed to be American. Like her character is supposed to be born in America,
a Japanese American.
No, but she's from America.
Yeah,
because they have a line explicit that says that she could run for president, which means she was born in America. So she's at least grew up learning how to speak both at the same time. So she should be fluent in English, and her English is terrible. And it's like, it takes me out of the movie, and I cringe every single time I see it. But other than that,
I mean, actress Satomi Ishihara has like on record said that it was pretty difficult.
That's not her fault. That's the writing of the character. That's not her fault. I don't hold that against her at all, because it's like, no, if she was from Japan, I wouldn't hold it against her, because I don't hold it against the guy because he's stated to be from Japan and English is not his first language. With her, she's American. It's very obvious she's not American to anyone who is American. So it's just a little annoyance, but also I agree.
Logan is way better than Venom. Yeah,
those are two completely different movies, though. They're trying to go for two completely different things. Where Venom is trying to be much lighter, Logan is a much more serious movie. So it's like I would agree that Logan's better, but you can't really compare the two because they're superhero movies, but they're made with different purposes. It's like trying to compare a buddy comedy to like an old Western or like a really serious revisionist Western. You can't really do that. At least that's my personal take.
See, Iko Uwais is going to be in the Snake Eyes movie.
I'm all for it. I love it. I heard Henry Golding's going to be Snake Eyes. I think it's actually a pretty good casting choice, I'll say.
All right. Sean says, granted, I still really like her in the movie.
I know. I will actually say this. Her performance is not bad. Her performance actually is not bad. It's just
like in the context of the writing is where it's
in the context of they made her character American specifically, because it's like her English clearly shows, because she also has lines in the movie where she switches languages to English because she says, "Oh, my formal Japanese language is not very good." I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then her English is pretty crap. So I'm like, okay, you're supposed to be American? I'm sorry, but like that's some of the worst English. And again, kudos to the actress for having to do a lot of that in English. And actually, I could understand what she was saying. So kudos to her for that. But yeah, that's more on the writing side. That's not her at all. And to be fair, she did speak all the words clearly. It's just I can tell that she's not American. Like, it sounds like a Japanese person who learned it as their second language. Which, again, if they wrote her character like that, I'd be fine. Because they wrote the main character like that. It's just that they wrote her as an American.
Right.
Who's trying to run for political office. Like, so...
I mean, she has my vote.
Of course she does, Dave. She was in the Attack on Titan live-action movies. Of course she does.
Yep. All right, so we're fully caught up right now. So, want to go ahead and call it?
I think we can go and call it.
All right. Ethan, do you have any stuff you want to plug?
No, I guess again I'll plug that we're going to be doing 2 spiritual successor films, Void and Zero. Those will be being made in the fall and maybe the spring. So keep an eye out for those. And I guess the only other thing I could plug, I don't know if you have this set in stone, but whenever we do if we decide to do like a Guy Ritchie dedicated podcast, you and I talked about me coming on for that.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'd love to have you on for that.
Oh no! So if we're gonna do that, I'll plug that as well. That we go ahead and do that. So,
alrighty, and well, if you're already here, you already found me, Titan Goji, on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and right now I'm working on 2 videos. One is a beginner's guide to Mazinger Z, which I'm collaborating with Kaiju Noir, aka Andres Perez. And another one is a video about the Kerberos saga, consisting of the Red Spectacles, Stray Dog, and General of the Wolf Brigade. So stay tuned for those. And I'll also have a Patreon and TeePublic if you wish to support me through those means. And yes, expect Void and Zero on the way. And
also, there's no merch. I'll say that there's also no merch. I don't have any of it yet, but there is no merch.
I was about to say there is in fact NULL merch on the TeePublic. You got T-shirts, masks, posters. Just go all out, go wild. Buy as many as you can. And next weekend,
and go check them out, people. Yeah.
Yes, and next weekend, May 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, and whatever time zones correlate with that, is the Gamera versus Gueron watch party. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That just about does it. So take care, everyone.